Hi, this is Russ Farnsworth reporting for PoliceStateVictims.com. Disabled American wins ADA battle in arbitration court. So I was in the arbitration court um, against attorneys that violated ethics and basically botched my case. And the arbitration court was pushing back against some of my disability needs, and I was able to win some battles with them, and I wanted to briefly explain a little bit about how I did that. First of all, I sent a summary of my medical records to the court. If you're like me and you have injuries that are not seen, that can't be seen, it's a good idea to include MRI images or X-ray images, and I also included a brief description about what each of these images reveals, because these lawyers are not doctors and they probably cannot read an MRI image. Um, I also wanted to include the same diagnosis made by multiple doctors from different clinics over many years, and so I was able to do that with my medical records. I highlighted all of the things that I wanted to stand out so that people would, go directly to what was highlighted and read that this is a long ongoing issue. Um, I was actually able to find in my medical records this notation that I had a 9-year history of this condition, and this is from a record going back to 2010. So I was able to use this to establish a very long history of this condition. I also had my doctor write a note recommending that I have an Americans with Disabilities Act certified disability coordinator to work with me in this arbitration process so that it moves forward in a way that allows me to have meaningful opportunity to participate in the process. If you're disabled, it may be difficult for you to keep up with things that the court is demanding of you, and you shouldn't have to lose a court case just because you're disabled and you're not able to keep up with how things are moving along. So this really helped me. It actually got me an extension in the hearing, and it also strengthened my case about needing a disability coordinator and about having specific disability accommodations met so that I can meaningfully participate in the arbitration. My friend Dan created this great document that we sent to the arbitration court, and in it we cited the rules of the arbitration court that allow for me to have a shorthand recorder or for me to have a recording of the proceedings, which is something that they were trying to disallow. There's also rules that allow for the participant to attend the hearing in person if they choose to. And that may be something that will help me with my disability needs. So this document helped to establish what the rules say and what my rights are within the arbitration court. Now, if you're new to the legal process, you may not know that a notarized document is much stronger in the eyes of a court than just signing a document with your name. Now, this particular document I didn't get notarized. I had a space for that here, but I didn't have time to actually get the document notarized. So my friend Dan suggested I put 4 stamps on the page and then ask the postal worker just to put a cancellation stamp on the document itself so that I have a record of the date that the document was mailed. So I at least was able to do that. But if you are able to get a notary your documents notarized, that will be stronger in the eyes of the court. So I recommend that you do that. And if you bank with a large bank like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, uh, U.S. Bank, and banks of that nature, those larger banks often have a notary that works in the office, and a lot of times you just schedule an appointment. You can show up with a few documents and then get them all notarized at once. So I've been able to use that and get most of my documents notarized for free when I've needed to get a notarization. And I also want to point out this website, equalaccessadvocates.com. This is a site that was started by Dr. Karen Huffer, who literally wrote the book on I wanted to point out the Equal Access Advocates website. This is equalaccessadvocates.com. This is an organization that was started by Dr. Karen Huffer, who literally wrote the book on legal abuse syndrome, talking about how people can get this condition because they are abused or have the rights violated in some way. They go to court to try to get justice, and instead of that, they get abused again within the court system. And so it really is an impactful emotional trauma that happens when you try to go to court to get justice, and instead you're just victimized again. So this website understands, or this organization understands legal abuse syndrome and the difficulties that disabled people can have when trying to go through a legal process. So there's a lot of resources here and information that will be very useful. If you click on the store button, there are 2 books here from Dr. Karen Huffer, Legal Abuse Syndrome and Unlocking Justice. I have not read either of these books. I am really in a financial hole at the moment. Hopefully you have a bit more finances to work with and you can buy these books. I believe there will be a lot of good information in them. I've heard that there is. So you may want to just spend the money, get those books and start reading. And I believe that you'll find a lot of information and things to assist you through your legal process. And if the court that you're dealing with tries to push back against any of your demands for different disability accommodations, I assume that there's going to be a lot of information in here about how to establish your disability needs and get the court to recognize them and accept them. There's also a resources heading here. Under that, there's a blog and also a brochure. If you click on the resources itself, there's a lot of videos here, again, that have a lot of information about how disabled people can get through their legal process without getting kind of steamrolled by the court. So I really recommend that you spend some time here at equalaccessadvocates.com. Try to absorb as much information as you can, and I believe that it will help you with your court or legal process. For policestatevictims.com, this is Russ Farnsworth.